Hello, David Jackson, David Graham, can you hear me? Maybe unmute.
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you for joining, Chairman. Hope you're doing well.
I am doing fine.
Good. I am having technical difficulties, so everyone that can hear me, my camera's not working, so you get to look at a nice view of a quilt. So that's what I've been dealing with this morning. For some reason, it just decided it didn't want to work.
The question is that your quilt?
Is that what?
Is that your quilt?
That is not my, no, that is not my quilt. That is the COGS quilt. Great. Let me, bear with me a few minutes, folks. I'm letting some folks in here.
Tell that to Tommy that
Chairman, we'll give it a few more minutes. At the beginning of the meeting, I'm going to have to do roll call of everyone that's on. So I'll be asking everyone, to say here. And then all the action items, Chairman.
Yes.
I'm going to have to do roll call on each and every one of those. So I'm going to need a first and a second, and then I'm going to have to go through all the membership. So it's going to be some heavy lifting this morning, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on that, and I will handle that.
Okay.
Also, the US 321 Strategic Corridor Resolution, there will be a presentation for that. And her name is Cassandra King, and I believe she's on.
Okay.
So that's a little background information for you there. All right, still got some people coming in here. Chairman, let's give it one more minute just in case anybody else wants to come, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like we are ready to get going here.
All righty. Well, I will call this meeting of the Rural Transportation Coordinating Committee to order. Our first item of business under action items is approval of the minutes from June 27th.
Okay, Chairman, can I stop you right there?
Please.
My bad. Let me do roll call before we start going through the agenda.
Okay.
So just so everyone can hear everybody, when I say your name, just say here, if you can hear me. David Jackson.
Here.
Ken Noland,
Here.
John Ward,
Here.
Charles Harden,
Here.
Adam Stum,
Here.
Richard Knight,
Here.
Kate Gavinus,
Here.
Joe Furman,
Here.
Phil True,
Here.
Tim Green,
Here.
Debbie Powers,
Here.
Pam Cook,
Here.
Ryan Wilmoth,
Here.
Sheila Blaylock,
Here.
Amanda Roten,
Here.
Preston Yates,
Here.
Debbie Smith. I see you there, Debbie.
I don't think she has a microphone, so.
Okay, all right. Well, I know she's there. And just so you all know, I'm just calling on members of the TCC here. Sean Sizemore.
Here.
Let's see who else we got here. Let's see here. We've got Debbie Smith. Let me ask for her. Wesley Barker.
Here.
Chris Medlin.
Here.
Kathy Barr. Kathy. Melinda Pepple. Can you hear me?
Here.
Super. Rick Owen.
Here.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chairman. This is that was an example of what our action items are going to look like. So just bear with me today.
That is okay. All right, so now we will move into approval of the minutes from the June 17th meeting. Those were sent out in the packet. Anybody have any comments to make on the minutes? If so, make them. If not, we can start the process of approval.
Yeah, we'll need a first and a second, Chairman.
Ken
A motion
Nolan
to
here. I'd be
approve.
glad to make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right. Motion from Ken, second from Charles Harden. All those in favor of approval of the minutes, participate in the roll call.
Yeah, I'll have to do roll call. So here I go. David Jackson, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. John Ward,
Yes.
since Ken made the motion and Charles seconded, Adam Stum,
Yes.
yes. Richard Knight,
Yes.
Kate Gavinus. Okay, can't hear her. Joe Furman,
Yes.
Phil True,
Yes.
Tim Green,
Yes.
Debbie Powers,
Yes.
Pam Cook,
Yes.
Ryan Wilmoth,
Yes.
Sheila Blaylock,
Yes.
Amanda Roten,
Yes.
Preston Yates.
David, I wasn't present, so I'll abstain unless you need me to vote.
That's fine. Thank you for that clarification. Sean Sizemore,
Yes.
Debbie Smith. Okay. Trying to keep up with my screen here, y'all. Tim Green,
Yes.
Melinda Pepple,
Yes.
Wesley Barker,
Yes.
Chris Medlin,
Yes.
Kathy Barr, Rick Owen,
Yes.
and Kevin Rothrock.
I'm here. What was the question? I missed it. I'm sorry.
We're just approving the minutes, yes or no?
Oh, yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, that's the minutes.
All right, minutes approved. The next item on the action items list is for David. This is approval of the DOT Division 11 and 13 alternate division needs criteria for the P 6.0 projects. So David, you can take it away.
Great, thank you, Chairman. Let me get to the shared screen here. I'm going to share the screen with you guys. Okay, hopefully y'all can see that shared screen there. Look at the minutes. Okay, here we go. So as part of Project Prioritization 6.0, NCDOT is encouraging all MPOs and RPOs and divisions throughout the state to meet and discuss with each other alternate weights for highway scoring for the purpose of helping some counties and regions better compete for projects at the regional impact and division needs categories. The proposal is for moving 10% from the pavement condition criteria to the lane width criteria at the division needs category for Division 11 projects. The result will be 20% safety, 0% pavement condition, 10% paved shoulder width, 5% freight, and 15% lane width. And this would apply to modernization projects in Allegheny, Ashe, Avery, Watauga, and Wilkes counties in the High Country RPO area. And so a modernization is technically just improving the road cross-section to current standards, essentially. It's, it's not a multi-laning, a current like 2-lane highway. It's just improving the lane widths and shoulder widths, technically. High Country RPO staff has evaluated projects in Allegheny, Ashe, Avery, Watauga, and Wilkes with Division 11 corridor development engineer. And based on the evaluation, the preliminary scores were overall higher for those counties, therefore increasing the weighting of lane width criteria from 5% to 15% for Allegheny, Ashe, Avery, Watauga, and Wilkes counties can result in better scoring projects. And I have attached some examples of for Division 11. And just so you all know, we're doing the same thing with Division 13. It's identical. However, I just wanted to be sure that I prepared 2 different memos in case there was pushback on this for some reason. But just so you know, both proposals are for Division 11 and Division 13. So I did include some examples here for you all to see how they're scoring better. If you have any questions about that, we have Sean Sizemore from Division 11 on the line. We also have Stephen Sparks from Division 13 on the line. We're just doing our best to make projects score better. That's the bottom line of what we're trying to do here.
David, if I could speak for just a minute about both of these, because me and Rob were both working together.
Super.
The point of trying to get this alternate criteria approved is to get some of our roads that we're looking at modernizing, which all it means is we're trying to bring it up to current lane widths, shoulder widths, for a road of its type within our NCDOT standards. By removing the pavement, essentially what we're saying is the pavement condition, if it's poor enough, it actually helps the score. But if the roads we're looking at have relatively good pavement condition, it doesn't give us any benefit. it isn't a negative to the score, it just doesn't help it. So by moving over to lane width, where a lot of our roads that we're looking at modernizing this time have narrower lane widths than the standards that NCDOT has for those roads. So by increasing that, it actually helps the score for the roads that we were looking at. It doesn't mean that the pavement condition on every single road in Division 11 and Division 13 is great. It just means the ones we're looking at, it wasn't a factor to help the score out. So by doing this, we're actually giving ourselves a better chance of getting a competitive project, and therefore getting a project that, where we're getting complaints of narrow lane widths, or, we always hear about the near misses. Well, I mean, if it's a near miss, it's not a crash, so we can't calculate that when we score them. So this allows us to get the wider lane width and stuff like that will help us get these projects funded and give them a very good score. And that's the reason behind using the alternate criteria at the division needs category.
Well said, Stephen. I appreciate your input there.
No problem.
Anybody else have any questions about any of this? All right, then, David, unless you've got something else, I guess we can move into approval.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Again, Chairman, like I said before, I separated them out. I mean, I feel like most everyone would be on board with helping these projects score better, but just to be on the safe side, separated them out. So I feel like we can do one vote on this for both Division 11 at the same time.
Yeah, this is Ken Nolan. I'd be glad to make a motion to approve the recommendation to change the scoring methodology for both Division 11 and Division 13 as presented.
Thank you, Ken. Do we have a second?
Phil True seconds.
Thank you, Phil. All right, David will take us through the roll call.
Okay, very good. All right, Chairman Jackson.
Yes.
Let me keep going down here. John Ward,
Yes.
Charles Harden,
Yes.
Adam Stum,
Yes.
Joe Furman,
Yes.
Pam Cook,
Yes.
Stephen Sparks,
Yes.
Richard Knipe,
Yes.
Debbie Powers,
Yes.
Brian Wilmoth,
Yes.
Kate Gavanis,
Yes.
Sheila Blaylock,
Yes.
Amanda Roten,
Yes.
Preston Yates,
Yes.
Debbie Smith. Okay, can't hear Debbie. Sean Sizemore,
Yes.
Wesley Barker,
Yes.
Chris Medlin,
Yes.
Kathy Barr, Melinda Pepple,
Yes.
Rick Owen,
Yes.
Kevin Rothrock.
Yes.
Okay, I think I made it through the list, y'all. I appreciate that. I know this is painful, but it's what I have to do to follow the law here.
Hey,
Okay.
David,
Yes.
this is Neil Weinberger. I don't know if I cut out on you or not, but yes, for me too.
Great. Thank you, Neil, for the clarification.
Tim Green, yes, for me also.
Thank you, Tim. You're helping me keep up with you guys.
All right.
Did I miss anyone else? Very good. Thank you.
All right. That motion approves. We can move on to action item 4, prioritization 6.0 local input points methodology subcommittee request. Mr. Graham, it is yours.
Okay, I'm on the stage again here. Let me get to this. Bear with me. My computer's running a little slow today. Maybe if let me try to do this. That might help. Yes, that helped.
Whoever knew watching someone scroll their screen would become entertainment.
Yeah, this is the world we live in now, right? Okay, super. All right, thank you, Chairman. Again, thanks for your patience with my technical issues this morning. That's just life. So hopefully you all have had a chance to look at this memo. Every time we do project prioritization, which is a 2-year cycle, we have to update our local input point methodology. And it's always been helpful to have a couple members from the TCC to join in this effort with myself, Phil True, and Division 11 and 13 corridor development engineers have also indicated a willingness to help. And essentially this just guides our local input points for projects for this round of prioritization that's coming up, so that we allocate those points to the best of our ability to score projects to the best of our ability to try to get them in the State Transportation Improvement Program, which is the ultimate goal here. So I will quit talking about it and get to the point. I need some volunteers. Ken and Joe, I know you all did this in the past. You volunteered on the committee. Don't mean to put you on the spot. You've already served your time. But I'd be glad to have you again if you are interested. If not, if I could at least get a couple of you guys to volunteer. And I anticipate maybe 2 or 3 meetings between the fall and the spring.
Yeah, this is Ken Nolan. I'm glad to continue with that if it's helpful.
Yes, thank you, Ken.
This is Joe. I agree with Ken.
Super. Thank you, guys. All right. So anyone else interested, or just Ken and Joe for now? Okay. I'm not hearing anybody else. Ken, Joe, thank you so much. And you'll be getting even more emails from me in the future. So Chairman, I'm going to have to go through that painful process again for these members to serve on this subcommittee. So if we can just call for a motion of approval.
So we need a motion to approve Ken Nolan and Joe Furman to serve on this subcommittee, correct?
Correct.
All right. If anybody would like to make that motion, we will entertain it.
John Ward, motion to approve.
Thank you, John. Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Adam.
Thank you, Adam. Mr. Graham, your roll call.
Okay, roll call. David Jackson.
Yes.
Let's see here. Down one. Charles Harden.
Yes.
Tim Green.
Yes.
Phil True.
Yes.
Pam Cook.
Yes.
Stephen Sparks.
Yes.
Richard Knipe.
Yes.
Debbie Powers.
Yes.
Ryan Wilmoth.
Yes.
Sheila Blaylock.
Yes.
Amanda Roten.
Yes.
Preston Yates.
Yes.
Let's see here. Who am I missing? Debbie Smith. I'm going to keep asking for Debbie. Maybe she'll chime in one of these days. I know she's there. She can hear us. Sean Sizemore.
Yes.
Wesley Barker.
Yes.
Chris Medlin.
Yes.
Kathy Barr. Melinda Pepple.
Yes.
Rick Owen.
Yes.
Kevin Rothrock.
Yes.
Neil Weinbarger.
Yes.
Okay, here comes the time where, who did I miss? Did I miss anybody?
Yeah, you missed me, Kate Gavanis. I say yes as well.
Thank you, Kate. A
You're
lot to keep
welcome.
up with here. I appreciate it. All right, we got it. Thank you, Chairman.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. So the next order of business under action items number 5, the resolution of support for the US 321 Strategic Transportation Corridor. David, do you want to introduce Cassandra or?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
Cassandra King is going to give us a presentation about this. So let me stop sharing this part and pull up the presentation for Cassandra to go through. So hold one moment, please. Share screen. There it is. Cassandra, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, super. I'm getting you set up here.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Slideshow. Again. This thing, I'll fix this here. Hold on a second. Okay, it is all yours, Cassandra, and I'll be happy to scroll through this. You just tell me when to switch slides.
All right, great. Thank you. So my name is Cassandra King. I'm with the North Carolina DOT Transportation Planning Division. I'm the Assistant Project Manager for the STC Master Plan project, and we're going to go over Corridor D or US 21 today. Next slide, please. So an overall agenda for this is I'm going to go over with you a data collection review that we did for the corridor, a corridor analysis, our preliminary corridor vision, and our stakeholder involvement process. Next slide, please.
Well, let's see here. Maybe it'll.
It tries its best.
My goodness. Okay. Cassandra, I'm trying here, so let me
I believe you.
bear with me here. Let me stop share and try that again. I wonder if it would do better this way here. Let me see if, or I can try this. Can you all see that?
It takes a second to show up, but yeah, it switches.
Okay.
If you minimize the notes, then the actual slide will, like if you make the note section smaller there, then the actual slide will be a bit bigger.
Aren't you smart, Cassandra? Okay, so we'll just try to go through it this way then, since my scrolling function isn't working now. Hopefully the computer will work through the rest of this meeting. We'll see. Okay, so we are at this slide, right?
Correct.
Okay, take it away.
So our overall timeline for this project was we started in spring of 2018, and we plan to have a final vision plan by winter of this year. Next slide, please. So we did a facilities inventory for the corridor. And in this inventory, we found that the highway has approximately 106 miles along the corridor. It is a federally designated truck route from the South Carolina state line to I-85 in Gastonia and from I-40 in Hickory to US 64 in Lemoore. There are 67 bridges along the highway corridor, 3 of which are structurally deficient and 12 of which are functionally obsolete. Next slide, please. So we looked at existing transportation plan recommendations for this project. We looked at the statewide transportation improvement program, comprehensive transportation plans, metropolitan transportation plans, feasibility studies, and traffic forecasts. Most of the corridor is recommended to be classified as an expressway. So south of Gastonia is recommended to be classified as a boulevard, and Gastonia to Hickory is recommended to be classified as a freeway. Next slide, please. We did a public survey for this corridor. The public survey lasted from April 6th in 2020 to June 6th. We advertised this survey through email, websites, newsletters. We made sure to mention it during various calls and meetings that we were on. And for US 321, there was 609 views on our public survey, which accounted for 253 actual participants. So that's about half of the people that viewed the page actually took the survey. We got 3,734 responses to our survey and 44 comments. Next slide, please. So I'm gonna go through some of the results from the questions that were relevant to your area. So from Hickory to Boone, we asked what changes would you like to see on US 321 in the next 20 years? And overall, most people wanted to see fewer traffic signals, higher speed limits, bypasses around cities and towns. Next slide, please. We also asked if there was support for the preliminary vision of an expressway from Hickory to Boone, and over 80% at minimum agree with this preliminary vision. Next slide, please. So again, we asked what changes would you like to see on US 321 in the next 20 years for the Boone to Tennessee state line section. And again, we saw that most people want fewer traffic signals, higher speed limits, bypasses around cities and towns. Next slide, please. And again, we had most people agreeing with that. So there was about 74% people at least agree with the preliminary vision of an expressway on this section. All right, next slide, please. So our recommended vision for US 321 is a freeway from South Carolina state line to US 70 in Hickory, and an expressway from US 70 in Hickory to the Tennessee state line. As a reminder, this is based off of existing highway. So it does not consider bypasses in construction. However, if you go to the next slide, please. Once the Boone bypass is completed, we are proposing that the corridor move to follow that bypass. So, and then also the Western Gastonia bypass. Once that's completed, we're proposing that the corridor follow that as well. So what this means is not that we will move where US 321 is. US 321 will stay the same, but our designated STC corridor will follow the bypass rather than following US 321. Next slide, please. So we ran our statewide model for mobility analysis for this project. And the results are that the recommended vision increases the average corridor travel speed by 12 miles per hour in 2040, and the average corridor travel delay is reduced by 80%. Next slide, please. We did identify a few things for further study, which were expressway improvements northwest of Boone and the connection at the Tennessee state line. the Boone bypass, expressway improvements between Boone and Blowing Rock, traffic signal time study in Blowing Rock, multimodal connections, and a resiliency assessment. We are, as a separate project, beginning a resiliency assessment on all 25 corridors. We're starting with a pilot project of US 70, so US 21 is a bit down the road as far as that resiliency assessment. And I do want to add that public involvement will continue throughout this process. So even after we have a final vision completed, public involvement will continue until construction is actually happening for these STC master plans. Next slide, please. So that's all I have for today. If there's any questions, I can answer them now. The project manager, Nastasha Earl Young, is also on the line. If there are any questions that I cannot answer, she can be my backup.
This is John Ward with the town of Boone. If it's okay, I do have a question.
Sure.
Is there any way that the town could encourage you to also add traffic signal time study in Boone? That's been an ongoing issue that we've worked with and through and continue to get complaints, and relatively easy to get through Blowing Rock, but once you get into Boone, that does become more of an issue. But if we could add that, I'd greatly appreciate it.
I don't think that there's any problem with adding that for further study, Nastasha.
No, that's fine. We can add that.
Okay.
Yeah, that would help me out a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, we can add that to our identified for further study.
This is Kevin Rothrock. Cassandra, I had a question.
Sure.
A couple slides up in the survey portion where you asked, it was broken into segments, and one of the questions was related to from Boone to the Tennessee state line. Yeah, that one. Maybe that's it. Anyway, there's one of them that talked about bypasses around town.
Oh, that would be slide 9.
Yes.
Okay. Is that it?
So yeah, that's it. So what are, when 60, that's 60 results, bypasses around cities and towns, between Boone and Tennessee state line, what are they talking about? Like Vilas?
So what this would be referring to is the Boone bypass, because that would fall in between the Boone to Tennessee state line. There was no other identified areas that needed a bypass when we were looking at it and going through the different comprehensive transportation plans. But of course, whenever you go out to actually start doing the preliminary engineering work, if they see that there is a need for a bypass instead of, it's too expensive to do the roadway widening or whatever improvements that are needed on existing, that's when they then may look at an alternative. But the only identified one in that area is the Boone bypass.
So not from Boone, but in Boone. But
yes,
so
the
if
Boone
I'm thinking
bypass goes around Boone.
Okay, because from Boone, from the outset, from the western side of Boone to the Tennessee state line, there are no state cities and towns. I'm just trying to figure out how it was phrased. So, and again, if that same question from Boone to the Tennessee state line, fewer traffic signals, there's one, I think.
So I think where the confusion might be coming from, or the question, your question might be, is the wording of this segment here. So given the length of the corridor, we opted to ask questions based off of segments. This is not saying outside of city limits of Boone. It's not outside of Boone to Tennessee state line.
Okay.
So this is including Boone.
Including Boone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Makes sense then.
Yeah. Yeah. So we separated out our questions into separate segments so that people who, you know, are in the southern portion won't necessarily be able to answer questions about what they want to see in Boone if they never go up there.
Okay.
So that's, I think, probably just the wording there is a bit confusing.
I follow it. Thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions? Not hearing any other questions. So Nastasha, can you remind me when we would like to have this approved resolution?
So right now we're doing presentations to all of the MPOs and RPOs along the corridor, and we are asking that you sign a letter of support in supporting the vision for the corridor. So that's the reason why we're presenting today. I think David did include that resolution in your packet for you to actually be able to vote on today. We're requesting to have all resolutions or letters of support by September 30th of this year.
Thank you for that, Nastasha.
Yeah, we had to put this on the agenda today because we won't meet again till November. So that's kind of why we're talking about it now.
If there's no other questions, that's all I have for this presentation.
Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Nastasha. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Chairman, we'll just need a call for a vote again on this. And we'll just to see if the TCC would like to recommend approval of this resolution to the TAC.
All right. Do we have anybody in support of such a motion? Or I guess
This is Joe Furman. I'll make the
offer
motion.
such a motion first. Joe, do we have a second?
Second from John Ward.
All right. David, you can go commence with the roll call.
Here we go. David Jackson,
Yes.
Ken Nolan,
Yes.
Charles Harden,
Yes.
Adam Stum,
Yes.
Richard Knight,
Yes.
Kate Gavanis,
Yes.
Phil True,
Yes.
Tim Green,
Yes.
Debbie Powers,
Yes.
Pam Cook,
Yes.
Ryan Wilmoth,
Yes.
Sheila Blaylock,
Yes.
Amanda Roten,
Yes.
Preston Yates,
Yes.
Sean Sizemore,
Yes.
Melinda Pepple,
Yes.
Rick Owen,
Yes.
great, thank you. Stephen Sparks,
Yes.
let me see who else I got here. Tim Green,
Yes.
Debbie Powers,
Yes again.
Pam Cook. Oh, did I already call your name, Debbie?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bear with me, y'all. Trying to keep up with everyone on this screen here. Let's see, Wesley Barker,
Yes.
Chris Medlin,
Yes.
Kathy Barr, Kevin Rothrock,
Yes.
Neil Weinbarger, and Kathy Howell. Okay, and now's the time for you to tell me if I missed you. And I'm not hearing anybody, so I must have got it right this time. At least I'm doubling up instead of missing people this time. Super. Chairman, thank you.
Awesome. Do you want to go through any other roll calls just for fun? I mean, you seem to be enjoying this, so we could throw some other action items on there.
Chairman, I am noticing I'm getting a little quicker with it. I wish the screen would cooperate so I'm not calling people's name twice.
Well, we'll keep that in mind. Just moving on to informational items now. We'll let David take it over for the prioritization 6.0 schedule update.
Okay, sounds good. Let me see if I can screen share back to the agenda. Hold one moment for me here. Screen. That looks like it. Share. Oh, I'm not finding my cursor here, so let me try this. There we go. This will work. Okay, here we go. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Okay. Let me start out with the prioritization 6.0 schedule update by reading a letter that I received from Van Argebright, who is the director of the Division of Planning and Programming Director. Got my words mumbled there. And the subject is obviously this schedule. And he says that a number of factors have affected the amount of funding that is anticipated to be available for new projects in this round of project prioritization, which we're talking about now, the P6.0 process. A significant revenue reduction due to COVID-19, a change mandated by House Bill 77 in how transportation revenue is allocated between maintenance and capital improvements that reduced revenues available to the State Transportation Improvement Program, and continued increases in project costs. The STIP unit has done an analysis and determined there will be very little funding available for new projects based on current revenue projections. However, NCDOT will not have a clear picture about our funding until Congress completes work on the next federal authorization funding bill. So I'm just laying it out there for you guys. Prioritization 6.0 is going to be painful. And I felt, after I got this letter, it was pertinent to share that with you under this specific category on the agenda. So that gives you the background. What you see in front of you here are the milestones for this project prioritization process. I will not read everything on this box because you can read it yourself. However, I'll point out to you that the fourth row below, it says solicitation of priority projects, and that will be occurring early June of 2021. And for you managers on the call here, that is when I ask you to submit your projects in priority order. I usually accompany that with a list of projects that are eligible, and you just say, hey, this is my number one, number two, number three, and so on and so forth. And for new managers out there, that is mainly coordinated through the county managers in our region and with municipal manager input. So I'll be happy to answer any questions about that either now or sometime after the meeting. But do keep that on your radar. Solicitation of priority projects early June 2021. That's all I have on that, Chairman, unless there's any other questions.
Any questions? All right, hearing none, we will. Oh,
let me speak a minute. David, will you speak a little bit for everybody's benefit? David Graham.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty common knowledge of the funding issues, but how does that affect projects that are currently scheduled in the STIP?
And luckily we've got some DOT officials on there. If I misspeak, they can correct me, but if they are committed, meaning that they are scheduled for right-of-way or construction within the first 6 years of the STIP, they are okay. If not, then they have to be reprioritized. So that's kind of where we stand right now. And I will get to more specifics on projects that are in that phase of the State Transportation Improvement Program under my project development update.
Thanks.
And yeah, thanks for asking me to clarify that, Phil. And if there's any specific projects that anyone on the call or any town or county is interested in, I'm happy to let you know where they stand within the State Transportation Improvement Program.
Any other questions or comments? All right, let's move on to the public transit update.
Okay, is there anyone from public transit agencies that would like to share anything that they're dealing with currently in their agency? I know we got a couple of you guys on the line.
This is Amanda. ACTA
Thank you, Amanda.
is doing as good as we can for right now. Transportation has been on the slow side due to the pandemic. There has been some funding that's been made available to the transit systems, which has helped tremendously. But just like everyone else, we feel that we've been hit hard, and hopefully things are on the slight increase for us. Not fast, but slowly. And we're hoping that eventually we'll get back to what we was before the pandemic.
Great, thank you, Amanda. Anyone else in the transit agencies? I know you guys are dealing with a lot of challenges out there.
David, I think that it's just been recently announced that Apple Cart has been successful at accessing some $1 million award from the VW settlement money. That money will go towards Boone's and Apple Cart's first electric bus and electric charging station that'll be housed at the Apple Cart area.
Wonderful, John. Thank you for sharing that. That was in the back of my mind if no one else mentioned it. So you beat me to it. I appreciate that. So some good things going on, some challenging things going on regarding public transit in our region. So just keep those guys in your thoughts. They're dealing with a lot of stuff right now. So that's all I've got on that particular item, Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Craig is in day 3 of carting around App State students.
Yes.
Social distancing on his buses. So keep
Oh
them in
my
your
goodness.
thoughts.
Yes. I can only imagine how that's going.
Yeah. Next up on the informational items is the project development update, Mr. Graham.
Okay, let me get to that here. Scrolling is fun. Here we go. Let me go to my main notes. Hopefully you all have this in front of you. And I will just go through the changes from the last time, which there were not too many. So basically everything on page 1 stays the same as the last time. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have as I go through this. Let's see, on page 2 here. Okay, so under the one at the very top, NC 105 R2566B, that bridge, which is the BA section at the bottom of right there, construction has been pushed back to 2022 on that. And if there's anyone from Division 11 that would like to speak to that, that'd be great. If not, that's fine too. Let me see, there was nothing Nothing else on page 2. Let's see, page 3. I didn't have any changes from last time on that one either. You go to, okay, so on page 4, which is what we're looking at right now, the Yancey County Transit Facility, that project has been pushed back also to 2022 to allow for more time for programming that particular project and get it ready. I'm excited to see that happen, as with any of these, but that one's really special for Yancey. And then I think on the last page, page 5, the Ashe County Airport, AV 5848. Based on what I'm seeing, that one has moved up a little bit, and construction is 2021 for the construction of apron expansions out there. So those are the main updates, just a handful, but that's the latest and greatest on what we've got there. And I'll be happy to answer any questions, Chairman.
Any questions about these or any other projects?
David, this is Joe.
Yes, Joe.
Maybe I'm missing this, but I don't see on here the roundabout at Wilson Ridge and Deerfield.
Okay, let me see if I can get there. Wilson Ridge and Deerfield.
Bottom of page 2.
Let me get there. Thank you.
Well,
is it there?
Anything about a roundabout?
Right.
Well, that would be part of that project. So it's not its own project, Joe, if that's what you're thinking. It would be part of what of the Bamboo Road, Wilson Ridge Road to Deerfield Road project.
So there's still one plan for Bamboo and Wilson's Ridge?
That is my understanding, correct. Yep, I can look further into that for you guys.
And David, the only other question I would have that would kind of go with Joe's is the Deerfield State Farm Road still a potential, but just part of the Deerfield Road realignment section maybe?
The roundabout there?
Mm-hmm.
That's my understanding. That's how Division 11 is looking at those intersections.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone from Division 11 like to speak to that? Sean, are you aware of anything there?
You are correct. It is a potential project.
Okay, thank you, Sean.
We're working on it.
Do appreciate that. All right, any other questions on that? All right, thank you, Chairman.
All right, we'll move right in then to the Division Engineers report. We'll start with 11.
Hey, this is Sean. I just have 2 updates, one from Wilkes County, which is the NC 268 project from NC 18 in town to Airport Road. It is 93% complete. So they're still finishing it up. And in Ashe County, the final surface is being placed for the A and B sections of US 221. So it should be completed soon. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Sean.
All right, Division 13.
Right, Sean, I don't have a lot to update. I've got 3 projects. The bridge in Mitchell County that's part of a 4-bridge project, 3 in Buncombe and 1 in Mitchell. This project is complete and it's just awaiting the final punch list items to be finally finished. But at this stage, the traffic is the bridge is definitely on its final traffic pattern. The R2519B, that's the US 19 project in Yancey and Mitchell counties. The contractor is paving the final layer of asphalt on the roads that the Y lines. Those are the roads that we are building that tie off of US 19 and tying in the driveways. It will take several weeks, but the project is scheduled to be complete in September of this year. And the only other one are we have some structure replacements The contractor's working on the last two bridges, the one on Ball Mountain Road, which is SR 1395, over Roaring Fork Creek, and one over Indian Creek Road over Indian Creek. These two should be completed sometime next month, which again will be sometime in September. Those are the only updates that I have for construction in Division 13. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Anybody have any questions? All right. Hearing none. Thank you, gentlemen. Last portion of the informational item is the Transportation Planning Division update from Pam Cook.
All right. I won't spend much time going over things. I believe David sent you out a copy of my newsletter. There are currently no traffic forecast in the High Country RPO area. The Yancey County CTP has proceeded, even with the pandemic. We've had our public survey out this past month that just closed. And then I included in the newsletter that NCDOT now does a logistics and freight bulletin that I thought the information was very helpful and interesting in that. And so you can contact the office if you would like to get on the mailing list for the newsletter. And then the second page was just information from DMV, just in case you have any drivers, people in your household who are needing to take the driving test. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Pam. Moving on to other items. Do we have any committee member comments or other business to discuss?
David, I've got one I'd just like to make sure DOT was aware of, as well as everybody else. But last night at the Boone Town Council meeting, there was a condition placed on a approval for the hospital expansion, and that condition will result in a partnership between the town of Boone and the Watauga Medical Center of, instead of a sidewalk, placing a greenway expansion from down near the hospital parking deck, right across from ASU Health Sciences, where they ringed their entire building with a greenway path. But a greenway path that'll go from the parking deck all the way up Deerfield Road.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
That was part of the Boone's plans, but also part of the Middle Fork Greenway plan. So we were successful in working out an agreement with the hospital of trying to further that Middle Fork Greenway connection between Boone and Blowing Rock, as that seems to be growing more and more momentum. There is a future expansion that the hospital is working on that would be further up on the Henson track where the older house and the older barn is located. And that would be another very critical segment of being able to loop the greenway somehow, either along the road frontage or back behind there up to the bridge there at Blowing Rock Road. But there was a significant portion of that greenway was encouraged, and it has a setback from the road as well. So it'll be separated from the where the sidewalk would traditionally be, right up against the edge of the road.
That's fantastic, John. Thanks for that update. It's a busy place around there.
It is.
Yeah, wonderful.
Any other comments from committee members or other business that we need to throw out there? All right, hearing none. Any public comment? David, were you sent anything that needs to be entered in?
I have not received any public comments, Chairman, prior to the meeting, and I'm not hearing any right now either. So I think we're good on that.
Excellent. Well, then if there's nothing else, we can move to adjournment. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is November 18th at 10 a.m. I am assuming that we're probably still looking at an online platform for that. David, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Just count on it, and hopefully my technology will be working a lot better. I appreciate y'all's patience today.
iPad. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to go through the roll call for the adjournment, do you?
Let's do that. I'm afraid to say, yeah, any action item, I feel like we need to do that.
Motion to adjourn, Ken Nolan.
Second, John Ward.
Okay, very good. David Jackson.
I move that we adjourn, yes.
Okay, so I had a first and a second. It was Ken and then John, right?
Yes.
Okay. Pam Cook,
Yes.
Kate Gavanis,
Yes.
Charles Harden,
Yes.
Joe Furman,
Yes.
Phil True,
Yes.
Adam Stum,
Yes.
Kathy Barr, Stephen Sparks,
Yeah.
Richard Knight,
Yes.
Debbie Powers,
Yes.
Tim Green,
Yes.
Ryan Wilmoth,
Yes.
Sheila Blaylock,
Yes.
Amanda Roten,
Yes.
Preston Yates,
Yes.
Debbie Smith, Wesley Barker,
Yes.
Chris Medlin,
Yes.
Rick Owen,
Yes.
Kevin Rothrock,
Yes.
and Kathy Howell.
Yes.
All right, am I missing anybody?
Linda?
Okay, thank you. And that's a yes?
Yes.
Wonderful. That's a lot of work just to close a meeting, y'all. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
Have a good day.
Everyone take care.